countdown has started, ladies and gentlemen, for the first game of the Assembly Summer 2011 ROG Tournament. And it is going to be absolutely fantastic.
Sen versus Protosser. Sen, the Taiwanese player, versus the Finnish homebred Zerg player also.
Homebred indeed. I bring you Multitouch, a.k.a. Sen. He is in the blue trunks, and he is playing Zerg right here to the southeast of this particular map, which is the Shakuras Plateau, versus his opponent, the one and only Protosser. He is in the red trunks, also playing Zerg to the southwest.
And actually, the Multitouch account, I don't know how well everybody's memories are at home, but Multitouch was actually the account that trolled me in DreamHack Invitational.
Oh, really?
Which said, Protoss is so imba.
Seriously, so
Yes.
Sen actually trolled you over the stream.
Yeah.
Well done, Sen. Well done. Very, very impressed. Now, this will be interesting. Now, what would your expert analysis be on the current state of ZVZ? Because it did start off being everyone's hated matchup, really. And now it's started to evolve, particularly in the GSL and in recent tournaments. What would you say the current state of it is?
Well, the current state, I mean, players are now defending against early aggression with a lot of defensive bailings and so on, so you don't really see so much aggressive mass circling players anymore early on. And they're starting to push the game in deeper into the mid stages of it. And then we're seeing a lot of alternating builds and strategies of recent. We're previously to the recent times, we've seen a lot of early Infesta builds, and we may well see them here. But most recently, we've actually started to see this Spire come back into play in this matchup, which was initially, you know, early the StarCraft 2 time builds, and it's now coming back. And as you can see, both players are going hatcheries as well. A few months ago, players would never go hatch first unless they wanted to die, but players are just getting better into defending. As you can see now, we have Sen getting gassed nice and early, so we can start the gassing, come ready for a nice early bailing nest to defend against early aggression.
Yeah, of course.
Or even get that speed up nice and fast either.
Yep, perfect counter to Bailing is, of course, Balian, just like Hellion is best counter to Hellion. Whatever the case, Shakuras Plateau is a really solid map for defending your early expansion on, simply because of the positioning. It's really, really great. You can get Spine Crawlers down here, you can place Banelings in order to attack as they come up the ramp, all sorts of possibilities, which gives us a very real likelihood of this going to the mid-game, and that's where things start to get a little bit interesting.
Yeah, I mean, both players have scattered each other as well. Here's the close by air. And so they've seen exactly what's going on. They know what each other's doing. They can see that each player has opened up gas before pool, and they're going to get that, well, most likely get that speed upgrade. And you can leave that overload literally until the spawning pool finishes, even a few seconds after it, and then retreat, as the queen obviously cannot chase you away. But this is where the variety is going to come in from both players. Are they going to get speed immediately? Because so far in this game, they've been exact mirror builds. Both players have reached over 100 gas yet. They don't see each other getting speed yet, so they're like, all right, well, I'm not going to get speed if you're not going to get speed.
Macro up, get a couple of queens, and that's exactly what's coming out. Speed is now coming out for Protosser right here, and the question is, was it spotted? That's a good question,
yeah,
really.
I think it was spotted,
just on the edge of Multitouch's Overlord. He started pulling that one off there a couple of seconds before the spawning pool ended. He didn't want to risk that Overlord at all to queen abuse. I can hardly blame it. And now it's a quick extractor trick there by Sen to grab an extra drone. If we have a look at the force composition, everything's pretty much identical for the moment. A slight drone advantage there for Sen, and a Roach one going down immediately for Protosser.
Yeah, he actually took 2 out gas to begin with, just to kind of pump his minerals a little bit harder, get 2 working more minerals, and then he's gone back in, and equally now we see Sen not taken out of gas, so you can see that's the reason why he has more gas right now than Protosser, but they're both going for a Roach build. And right now this is going to be quite a defensive passive play, simply because that Roach has come out. Whoever attacks will be naturally at a disadvantage until that Roach speed is out, unless they will go for some huge timing tap, but they're going to need the Evolution Chambering out, because Roaches are so slow. And as you'll start to see progress in the minimap now, is you'll start to see a line of Overlords basically making their way to each other's base in the middle of the map. If you click on Protosser's view, you see has a line. You click on Sen's vision, he also has a line in the middle of the map. So they have the best and the highest reaction time possible to what's going on. And already, Sen smelling a bit of weakness here, building a few lings, and with speed it's going to give you a lot of map control, especially if your opponent doesn't do that. And right now we have a lot of Roaches being made out for Protosser here, 5 or 6, and he's going back to drones. But right now, another 20 lings have been made. This is huge, and now Sen is going to push out with these. The Overlord has spotted that amount of lings as well.
Yeah, it's a really, really aggressive opening. In comes Protosser with a quick little bit of scouting action on the back of the expansion right there. And Protosser's response right now, he's put down a Spine Crawler, he's going double Evolution Chamber, and he's going Roaches. The thing is, he's very vulnerable to this early opening as far as I'm concerned. He's looking to wall off right here with that and the Roaches. This is going to make it a little bit difficult. And we're going to see what Sen can actually do. He's going to go straight for it and drill himself right into the Roaches. And a good, solid defense early on right here for Protosser.
Yeah, really good defense, but I think he might have overreacted just a little bit. He's built a lot of more Roaches behind that, and as you can see, it's very well walled off. He's pretty safe. Meanwhile, all Sen did in that engagement was build a bunch of links and then drone up even harder behind.
Yeah.
So he was behind in drones to begin with, but now he's ahead. 37 versus 30. Both of these players start +1 immediately. We have no layer yet. They don't want to invest in a layer. They want to get every inch of money in drones and upgrades and obviously units.
Yeah, it's a really smart play there by Sen, obviously forcing his opponent to overproduce, in fact, on the Roaches. So he's at an economic advantage right now. His supply count is also higher, and that's going to cause Protosser a few problems. The question is, where does Sen really go from here? What is his strategy going forward? Are we looking for layer tech? Are we looking to get Roach speed? Or is he going to stay on Hatchery for a while?
Well, he's going to stay on Hatchery for a while, and he's also just going to build a lot of Roaches up. He may very well go for a timing attack here. The problem is, the upgrades are the same for Protosser in this situation. He's got equal amount of Roaches, but he's always going to be in the defensive position, which means his units are going to maximize damage because the units of Sen are going to get clumped up as they go up the ramp. So each of them are just building units non-stop. If anybody drones right now, they're going to be at a significant disadvantage, sorry.
Yeah, Protosser losing an Overlord right there as Sen is able to flank it with 2 of his queens quite nicely. And Sen actually in a really good position to just get the heck out of there. He doesn't want to move his queens out of there at all. Protosser just staying on macro for pretty much 100% of the time in that regard. If we have a look at the force composition, Protosser does have a higher Roach count at the moment. We've got missile attack upgrade about to finish for both players, so any kind of engagement will be equal. But as you said before, it's the home ground advantage. It's a much, much shorter reinforcement distance. You're fighting there, and obviously you're fighting in a narrow choke with a Spine Crawler to help you out. So I have to wonder if Sen can really do damage here. Perhaps he's going to be relying on his rather excessive amount of Zerglings to back this up, because he is going across the map right now.
Yeah, I mean, both players are going for the kind of similar timing, the similar strategy here. Very equal drone counts and very similar unit counts. So it's all going to come down to the micro engagement, how they engage, do they get in position correctly, and so on. And what even Sen can do now, if he doesn't want to engage, he can actually just sit outside the base of Protosser, get in, well, because he's moving his units now, get into a nice, fantastic arc, and just literally sit there and wait for Protosser to come down, because Sen will always have an advantage in a defensive position on the lower of the ramp.
Interesting little strategy there by Protosser. He breaks his wall and detonates a set of Broodlings, does a little bit of damage, and is now going to push out. Of course, he doesn't want to be contained by his opponent. He thinks that he's got an opportunity right here. He might be right, but I don't think he's really aware of just how many Zerglings are going to come around the side right here. Really good concave action going on for Protosser with the engagement, pushing Sen all the way back, who is focusing on the Zerglings initially. And the question is, will Sen be very, very patient here and wait to get a really good Zergling surround after this? Right now, he's being pushed all the way back to his base.
Yeah, this is actually really bad for Sen. He's got caught out of position. He's trying to retreat. He's losing a lot of Roaches. He's trying to rebuild them at the same time. And there are nothing but units being made by Protosser right now. He is definitely going to go and try to kill Sen right now. Sen is even being forced to build Spine Crawlers because of those units he lost.
Yep, the army supply count is now equal. Protosser starting his lair, and I believe Sen has already finished his. So that's going to be quite nice for him. He hasn't started Roach speed yet. He's being forced into a defensive position, as you said, with a couple of Spine Crawlers coming down, looking for level 2 upgrade right here. And that'll be very, very nice for him, of course, if Protosser's just going to camp outside his base for a while.
Yeah, I mean, Sen sacrificed a few units in that battle to get lair, but now he's in a good position. He's got 2 Spine Crawlers. Protosser should never look to engage up there.
No.
As you can see, he's going lair himself now. He's adding on 11 drones behind this. He very may well take a 3rd base as well behind this, because right now Sen is stuck in his base. He can't get out really. And as soon as Roach speed and +2 attack, Roach speed is the biggest thing right now. Forget about +2, because as soon as Roach speed is done, every single Roach of Protosser will die, because he cannot retreat. He's going to have less numbers and less upgrades. So right now, that is a ticking bomb for Protosser.
There's no doubt about that, and with the addition of an Infestation Pit as well, there's even less chances for Protosser to get out of there. So this contain really is on borrowed time. So he has to be very, very worried right now. He should be thinking, can I stay here? Can I really stay here? Is Sen just going to sit there without lair tech? I don't think so. Is he going to sit there without building the roach speed? I don't think so. So that's something that Protosser needs to consider immediately, because he could lose the game on that one engagement. That's just how knife-edge ZVZ can be.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the drone count is 48 for Sen, 50 for Protosser. They're not going over that because obviously that's higher than the saturation needed for 2 bases. They're not looking to expand anytime soon. The unit tab as well, 51 roaches for Sen, but they're going to have speed and +2 very, very shortly. So this is looking pretty bad for Protosser, to be honest.
Yeah, Protosser has taken his third, which is probably the right thing, but I would start to be pulling back right now, honestly. Move back to defend the third, make sure you can get your tech up and drone up and get that economic advantage, because Sen is reaching his critical mass. He is almost on 200 supply right here, and that is a bit of a problem, is it not?
Yeah, and Sen actually sees the third now. He sees the roaches still don't have roach speed. Sen knows the exact thing to do now. He's going to wait till +2 finish. He very may well wait for these infestors to finish as well and then go with them. And it's going to be a nightmare for Protosser to actually handle this. He realizes, and he might retreat. The thing is, he does have a good concave. He does have great position, so that's going to give him a little heads up for the fight. But I think at the end of the day, these numbers, and also the fact that these... Oh, actually, the infestors came out before Panathan Glands. A little bit of a slip-up there from Sen, actually.
Yeah,
so
that's
these infestors aren't going to have anything, but it looks like Sen is getting ready to go.
Yeah, that's not going to help at all. Of course, it takes about 25 seconds to get the extra energy, but he's already charging up this infestor. It's almost ready to go, as is the second one, and he does have a massive unit count advantage as well as an upgrade advantage. Here we go. He looks for the concave right here to break through this contain. He should be able to do this without too much of a problem, and of course, fungal growths will follow that up. A huge fungal right there on the left flank of Protosser defenses. Protosser is getting smashed to pieces, and this could be the game right here.
Well, 19 roaches are in production as well from Sen. He's reinforcing with a lot of 25 now. He's just going to wait, putting them all over to that third base. Protosser, being smart, is already retreating drones from that third base. He realizes, oh damn, that's pretty bad.
He waited too long. It's as simple as that. Yes, the contain was effective for the time being, but he should have then built his third and then retreated, looked to get into a good defensive position. Sen was simply not going to sit around. There was all sorts of things Sen could have really done there. I mean, he could have gone Mutalisk, of course, and in this case, he went Roach Infestor, which makes perfect sense, and now smashing his way into this defensive line. The Spine Crawlers are not complete. Wow, the size of that fungal. Look at it. It's massive. It's huge. It's enormous. And Protosser, right now, looking with a really solid defense. I mean, that was a really good fungal growth right there.
That was pretty clutch, actually, to be honest. That was pretty smart. But the thing is, he's still going to lose his third base.
Yes,
he's
he is.
Still at 138 food to 120. He's got a drone lead, but that doesn't matter much when you're on 2 bases because they don't help you. Protosser's in a good defensive position, but now the upper hand is with Sen. Sen can now expand. Sen is taking an expand, actually, at the lower third position here. So now he's got the advantage. He has the unit count, he has the upgrade advantage, he has the infestors out. He's going to have more gas very, very shortly as he's taking the extractors already to get that gas income, because that is Zerg versus Zerg. It's all about the gas. Whenever you expand, it's about the gas, because you need more upgrades, you need more infestors.
Yes, you do indeed. Unfortunately for Protosser, the infestors did not get eaten by the little broodlings. They tried, bless them, but that did not happen. So that one's now being rebuilt. Protosser with a small vanguard force that isn't going to last all that long. If anything comes in, he'll be looking for a fungal just to delay it. And if we have a look at army supply, we're now noticing that Protosser has fallen behind. Worker supply is equal for the time being, but Sen's going to have this third fully operational quite a while before Protosser. There's going to be at least a minute, and then of course the drone transfer coming in as well, doing a little bit of long distance mining just because he, as you said, he's got the spare drones. What else is he going to use them for? And Protosser having a look around right here with this overseer, looking around seeing what he can see, and he is aware of the position of the third. He knows what's going on there. In fact, he's actually got an overlord directly above the force right here, and he doesn't want to waste anything on that. That's a massive roach count coming out right here. We've got 54%, and now he's going to add Hydralisk to this mix.
Yeah, I mean, the thing in Zerg vs. Zerg, early on in Zerg vs. Zerg, is actually kind of hard to scout sometimes, but as the game develops and gets longer, they actually have complete vision of everything. You might as well not even have the cloud on the minimap, because it doesn't matter. You see everything. And right now, Sen knows about the third, and he knows pretty much everything so far. The thing is, what he's doing now is adding that Hydra Den. The reason why is because roaches are good. But the thing is, when you have so many roaches, you actually need Hydras at the back because they're DPS. They can't get touched. and it just changes fights completely over.
Yeah, it does.
Some people would prefer just to have even more infestors, but adding on Hydras is actually great. And as you can see, now Protosser adding on his own Hydra Den. The thing is, throughout the entire game, he's just seconds away and behind Sen in every decision he makes.
And that could be a problem. The really nice thing about this as well is that map control you were just talking about now is evaporating, simply because Sen got his Hydras out first, which means 3 Overlords over and over again. So all that map control is disappearing, and also I should point out that Protosser has actually taken a 4th. That hasn't been scouted just yet. I have to wonder if it will help, though, because with the Hydras in the mix, mass fungals going off on all sides, needless to say, as Sen attempts to break his way through this defensive line. Spine crawlers have been deployed, and they're taking a good number of kills, and now some infested Terrans getting in the mix, because hey, why not, let's party. And Sen is being driven back once again. Protosser with some excellent defensive play thus far.
Yeah, the thing is, though, the food is still 170 versus 105. There are just too many reinforcements coming through. 25 roaches at a time in production for Sen. Does not slip on his macro whatsoever. Spine Crawlers will hold this position, but at the same time, Protoss has just lost every single inch of his army. Yeah,
that didn't really help at all. I mean, amazing fungal growth once again, backed up by the Spine Crawlers that were, of course, able to easily pick that up. Redeploying one right now as Sen streams through to try and take out the 3rd once again. And Protosser's response force will consist primarily of infestors and a few roaches, which are heavily damaged to begin with. And those infestors aren't on high energy either. They already used an awful lot of it. And Sen brings in a flanking force to try and drive that off. However, Protosser once again smartly nailing down those infestors, but still, how are you going to deal with that big roach count?
Yeah, that's the problem with going infestors only rather than adding on Hydras, is after a time you can reinforce faster than the energy of the infestor regenerates. So at the end of the day, he's just going to be left with a bunch of infestors like Protosser is, and there's nothing he can do to stop these roaches killing all these drones in this hatchery as well.
Yeah, and this 3rd has proved to be, well, 4th in fact, proved to be absolutely useless thus far because he hasn't mined from it at all. Protosser looking to redeploy once again. He's going to move all his Spine Crawlers there. That is dead. There's no real question about that. Question is, will he go for the 4th? And he will! And that's going to be spotted and annihilated, already being picked off right here by Sen, which is the economic advantage of Protosser pretty much melting in front of his eyes. Protosser is not out quite yet, and he's doing a good amount of damage with these infestors, but I'm still very concerned. But apparently he is. GG in the first game of this best of 3 series. They're going